Hello, everybody. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV. We're live with another post-match review of this match that everybody is so happy about, and we're gonna dive into more in depth, more conversation about what happened yesterday at St. James's Park. My name is Chris, the American Mag. Of course, Mighty Win, Gary, and Tim, another Geordie lad that we brought onto the channel. Amazing stuff that he comes up with. So lovely to have him back. And yeah, so first of all, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and of course, support the channel, become a member if you can, and share with your Geordie friends. Um, well, we kind of the three of us here, except Tim, said their piece on the instant match reaction. So I'd like to get from Tim. Tim, what do you think about the game yesterday, mate? Well, first of all, how you doing? Hopefully you're
Good,
well.
thanks.
And
Yeah, thanks
yeah,
for
man.
having us.
Did you go to the
Fine,
game?
thanks. I didn't go to the game.
Oh,
I actually missed. I was tied up with something, and I didn't see the first 10 minutes. But I'm assuming the first 10 minutes were the same as what it was the rest of the half.
Right.
I'm assuming. Is that right? Going to you
We
guys.
took it to them for the first
Well,
5 to
the
10
first
minutes.
10 minutes
Right.
we were in the
Yeah.
I will tell you this before I let you say your piece. I don't think we've ever played like this all season. So there you go.
Well, what I'd say is we definitely had the intensity and the tenacity back that we expect. That, like, first things first, that was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then like with Man City, it's like not many teams can kind of stop them from having as little chances as they had. They had the one chance and they took it. So no, I think it was like so much better. Maybe we needed a game like that. You know what I mean? To come out of ourselves and show up. Obviously, it helped with Tonali playing. He was brilliant. For me, Lewis Hall was man of the match.
Yeah.
I think he was absolutely brilliant, and I think his passes, when you've got the ball coming out from the back, it's so easy to give it away, isn't it? Just to boot it, hoof it. And when we have Hall on the side, I think he's an important player because he helps us keep the ball and break the press, especially with Bruno there dropping deep. You can link up with him. There was a moment where I think he turned his body and sent Man City play the wrong way, and we were out then. We had possession moving up. And what was impressive about Hall was his defensive game, because last season I was really desperate for him to play a lot more. I was a bit annoyed that he wasn't. Obviously, Howe had his reasons, and to be fair to Howe, he did have a shocker defensively away at Wolves. But now that when you look at that game, if he can do that defensively, then for me, he's a really important player because he can then progress us up the pitch and we can keep the ball better. But yeah, like overall, just obviously, as everyone said, like a much better performance. And if we can keep that tenacity, it might not come off every time in terms of the play, but if we can keep that energy and tenacity, then we can be up there, top six.
Yeah, it's pretty. To me, it's pretty simple. We play like this really good against the best team in the Premier League. So if you do that against every team, you're going to be in the fight for like you said, top six or even top four. Or even better, to keep it that way. I'll be very modest when I say that. But listen, I think but look, I've been going. We're gonna take a look at Twitter here in a minute as well, but it almost goes against what I really believe, because I've seen maybe too much joy. And I get that we get to celebrate. Obviously, we got a result, and we played good, that's something to celebrate, to be honest, because we haven't been at all, and we went from playing bad to playing really good, which is probably football is like that, I guess. There was no in between, which can lead me to think, well, what was going to happen next match, which is Wimbledon. So, but I've seen a lot. The Man City fans are pretty kind. They have complained about the penalty. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but They are
What?
the Man City fans are pretty kind overall. I thought that if we would have played against other teams, those fans would have been taunting us for celebrating a draw. And to be honest with you, it almost felt like okay, I'm with you, but it is a draw nonetheless. So I I'm in between. I don't know what to feel. I'm good that we play good, but you know some of the things that I've been seeing all over social media are a little bit too much, I think. But I mean, you guys cut in and say your piece, of course.
I'll quickly say, sorry, no, I'll just quickly say one thing. I agree with what you said, Gary. I think before the game, in that the performance was more important than the result. So while you don't want to be celebrating the draw like you won the cup, the fact that we played better and obviously got the point, I think was the important thing about it. If we'd scraped the draw, do you know what I mean? Where Man City had chance after chance, then I think it's like, well, come on, let's calm down. But I think it's just more the fact that we looked our old selves a bit more. But I agree. Obviously, you don't want to be getting over the top about draw every time. But that's what I would say. But there was a few things that I wasn't sure about, and there's a few things that going forward are interesting in terms of team selection and in terms of who you play for what type of game it was and will be in other games. So I've got a few thoughts on that. But that's what I would say in response to kind of what you said there, Chris, about the over celebrating.
What did the rest of you think?
Go on, Win.
What I was going to say was you were saying you were happy with Hall's defensive contribution. I thought Hall, by the way, had a fantastic game. I'm not by any means taking anything away from him. But if you watch the game, J7 was actually playing left back. Every time we were out of possession, it was J7 who was going extreme. They were playing. It ended up with 5 along the back, with J7 joining the back 4 at left back. So Hall was just inside of him. Every time they dropped back, J7 was further back. And it wasn't until J7 got booked that then Hall went to the extreme left of the 5 and J7 dropped into the, between Byrne and Hall. And so, and I'm sure it was obviously a planned thing by Eddie for to do that. But what it meant was that Hall didn't have to be as defensively going forward. He was fantastic, but it meant he didn't have to be as defensively astute as you would have had to be had J7 not been dropping back into the hole to help him out, if you like, and to help Burn out, of course.
Just a small pause there for a second. Ruben Sinton, cheers, mate. A happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a great day. And with the family there, I see the little kids there, so hopefully you're, surrounded by family and have had a good day. Also, you did mention that you were a member. I don't see that on there. You're not a member. Just letting you know in case you maybe try to sign up and didn't go through. So you can sign up by hitting that join button and get exclusive content as well. So as long as perks, we're going to give something away pretty soon, probably tomorrow for the preview. So become a member, and also welcome Newcastle fan. You are a member. Must have been giving it to you, maybe. So thank you. Congrats on that. And of course, if you don't mind, renew your membership at the end of the month. That way you can, support us that way as well. So welcome Newcastle fan and everybody else out there. But well, hold on. Newcastle fan says, Chris, can we do once again the fun reaction?
What was that?
What fun reaction?
I think fan reaction.
Oh, it's Lewis, by the way. Lewis, is that you? Lewis York.
Oh, Lewis has changed his handle.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it was Lewis, Newcastle fan, but he just took the Lewis out, I guess. So, but what do you mean fans reaction? Can we do a fans reaction? You wanted to come on and stuff. Well, what we're gonna do from moving forward is the instant match reaction. Albion, and I'll throw the link in there, and and you guys can join, have your say for, I don't know, 2-5 minutes, kind of like Tim did, and and who knows, you might get an opportunity, everybody, to keep coming forward and being part of the shows. But I think be aware of instant match reaction right after the game. Be aware of that. So, and of course, I think you're in the group chat, so we'll share that with you, man, when the time comes. So,
And of
thank
course,
you.
but Lewis is at the matches.
They say the matches at a home game. So
Yeah, that's true. Well, on away matches, you can come on.
can always
Look,
join in.
the opportunity is there, man. Just it's up to you, of course. Jody Tune for Life says, "Win that was to force Man City wide and not to go through the middle, which is their strength.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
tactics from
absolutely.
Howe."
Great tactics. Yeah, spot on.
I do think that yesterday Eddie Howe did come up with some good stuff. And when it's due to criticize, we should criticize. When it's due to praise, we should praise. And I think that yesterday was a really good performance overall, and the manager included. Finally, he came to his senses about starting Tonali, which is good, which is great, and you can tell that on the pitch. You can tell that. But also, the way he directed the team to approach Man City is very. And look, we're gonna get to Pep Guardiola's take as well. He was very, very, not happy. I don't know the word. But he was very. He was pointing out that Eddie Howe. He was impressed by Eddie Howe's tactics to approach to the game. So there is something. There's a manager in there, man. There's a manager in there.
There's definitely a manager there.
You
I mean,
better believe it.
for me, when you've got a player, like I say, you've got to think J7 hasn't got the technical ability in midfield the same as Bruno Guimaraes or Sandro Tonali. He's not that gifted. So you need something different from your other midfielder. And for me, J7 yesterday, if you look at where he played as the left centre midfield, he played a defensive midfield, he played left centre back, he played left back, he played left-sided forward. That lad covered the channel on the left-hand side for the whole 90 minutes, ran his legs into the ground. I think you've got to give Eddie Howe a massive round of applause for the tactical nuance to actually get on and get under the skin of Man City, because we frustrated them constantly. And if it wasn't for one mistake that created their chance for the goal, a lot of their actual main chances were from outside the box, which were shooting from defence. That it was their defenders coming onto the 20-yard line that were actually just pinging shots, and most of it went wide. So for me, there was a little bit of excellence, and again, let's think a little bit further afield. We've always questioned why Tonali hasn't started, and I think that's another thing that I think raised its head yesterday. Tonali still isn't match fit, and obviously he had to come off with cramp. I mean, the lad could only walk back to the dugout. Never mind, carry on playing football. He left everything out on the field, and that's what I said. As much as we want the best 11 started, I do, and I keep saying we aren't privy to the information that these guys have in the dressing room, in the medical room. So, like I say, you have to give a little bit of credit where credit's due, and I think Eddie Howe deserves a massive pat on the back for that display yesterday. Very different, and again, in the pre-match, he did hold his hand up about making mistakes in the Fulham game, and he said he got the whole week to prepare the lads, and he hadn't seen a video as many times as he did the Fulham game, because he wanted to drum into the lads that the standard just wasn't good enough. And that's what I said. You get criticised as a manager, but the manager can only give the information. It's up to the players to go and put that information out on the pitch. And unfortunately, our lads previously just haven't raised the game to that level. And yesterday, and again, it comes to the opposition, doesn't it? If you can't raise the level of in attitude against the world's best team, if you like, because they've won the World Cup at club level, then you ain't going to raise your game against anybody. And I think the beauty of it yesterday was the start we made. When you pull that ball back, and Anthony Gordon throws the ball back to the defence, they then move it to Hall. Hall moves it up to Barnes. Barnes then brings it all the way back to, I think it was to Burn. Burn then drives it across to Trips. Trips then drives it up the field, and it was that shoulder barge, and this was all in the first 90 seconds. You got a shoulder barge from Murphy, who Guardiola just gets took out the pitch, and then there's a ball that gets across to Harvey Barnes, and he's got himself in a perfect opportunity where he can lock and load, as Chris says. Unfortunately, his first touch is just a bit away from him, and the shot was blocked. And I think that was the driving mechanism that moved us forward then. And it was like every time we got the ball, the lads just decided we'd go man to man, high up the park, and we made it very, very difficult. And the other thing that I noticed yesterday was the fact that even though we went man for man up top, when it come to the defence, our defence line wasn't at the halfway line like it normally is. There was a gap of around about 15 yards just because of the pace of Haaland. And we know that Haaland can do. So any ball over the top, they'd got 3 players literally marking Haaland where they got less space to run into. So for me, it was a great setup from the manager with the way he dealt certain little things. And it was tweaking the game where it needed tweaking to take away Man City's strengths and play on our strengths. And like I say, with a little bit more of a central attacker, because that's the only area where we did look a little bit weak at times when we broke quick. The rest of the team couldn't keep up with Anthony Gordon or Murphy, because I didn't realise Murphy could run that quick yesterday. And unfortunately, some of his deliveries in the box,
he was
there was just nobody to get onto the end of it.
He was really he was really good for for a good part of the game.
Yeah.
Craig Hope put here he put an article. He said here is a point that Man City will not celebrate. Newcastle will, and so they should after a performance that recaptured the values so central to their identity. And that phrase is spot on. But there is a debate now all over social media from NUFC fans within, saying that, wait a minute, we drew the game. If we win, if we beat Man City, what are we going to do then? And the first comment on this article is from Mal Ace that says, that's absolute bollocks. A poor Man City side devoid of ideas to break us down, and instead of going for it, Eddie was delighted with a draw. Could have lifted our season. Instead, watch us fold like a pack of cards at Goodison next week. That would also show you that not everybody will be happy, obviously. And I do think that there's a lot of positives to take away from this game than negatives, to say the least. And whether people celebrate, fans celebrate, that has nothing to do with on the club. That's just the fan base. So that would be an issue with the fan base, not necessarily the players don't tell fans what to do, or Eddie for that matter. So it's about the fans. And again, I could agree to a certain extent with some of it because yesterday the fan base, man, I almost had to stay away from Twitter because I was going to pass out from a sugar, from what is it called?
A happy overdose.
Yeah, man, I would just okay, what are we going to do? As Tim said, can't celebrate like we won the cup, but it also can't be the other way.
Why not?
But it also, because come on, I think we are a bigger club than that. However,
No, I'm not.
it can't be the other way around where this is the best game we've played all season against the toughest team that we can't play or we probably play all season. So why couldn't we take a lot of positives from that? And certainly that's the level we can't drop off. But you were saying, why not, Mighty Win?
Why can we not celebrate?
I'm not celebrating the draw. I'm not. I just.
I am
I can't,
because that was different level to anything that's gone before this season.
Yeah, but it's like settling for less, though. I mean,
I don't think it is settling for.
If I was Man City, I wouldn't celebrate the draw because they're expecting to turn everybody over that they face, right. and I think that's the difference when you've got a team like ours who are just ready, getting themselves involved, and you've got to take it for what we've got now. We've got a team that we now can take the game to any other team in the Premier League. And even in Europe, I mean, like I say, even though we finished bottom of the group last time we were in the Champions League, we still had lots of good games rather than negative games. And all but for the luck of the draw, if you like, we could have gone on further. And that's what I'm saying. You've also got to take into consideration, to keep a team motivated and to keep a team on its point, you have to have support with new, fresh blood. We haven't had any fresh blood coming for 2 transfer windows now. So a lot of the stagnant players, and I'll say that openly, there's not a lot of competition in certain areas. If you think about it, the only competition we have at the moment, because we've got 2 centre halves that are out until December. So the 2 centre halves virtually are vying every time. They know they're going to play. So how much effort do I need to play before I get dropped? Same as the midfield. When you've got 3 technical players like we've got, well, 2 and the general, how many times do I have to go out there and really give it my all? I'm not going to get dropped because I am the best player in the park. And sometimes, like I said, the problem with our team is it's about the depth of the squad. If I'd got Man City, if Eddie Howe had got Man City, things would be exactly the same for Man City as they are now. With, I would say, a lot of other managers. I'm not saying every manager, with a lot of other good managers, because they've got depth and quality throughout the side. They've lost 2 impact players in KDB. I'm not going to say they haven't, because Rodri is the pinnacle in that midfield. He links up the defence to the forward line. He's an amazing player. But you imagine how we would face if we was to lose Tonali, because just say like last season, how difficult it was when we lost Tonali, and how difficult it would be if we lost Bruno in the middle of the park. The 2 players you get to change with them is Longstaff and Willock, because they were our next 2 best midfielders. We are counter apart from them to us, and I think that's what you have to celebrate. It's not a win. It's not a loss. It's a good draw, and it's the commitment showed by every 11 on the park on the time. Wasn't so sure about the substitutions, mind, but it was 4 substitutions. And that was the level it dropped. If you looked at when the substitutions come on at the 76 minutes, the performance levels completely dropped, because it was just a case of then digging in and stop them from scoring. And they had more shots in the last 15 minutes, I think, than they did in the box, than they did the entire 75, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Go on, Tim. Sorry.
Sorry, again, it was more about the manner of the performance, and to have that balance of kind of getting at their back line. Granted, not creating absolutely loads, but we were in the final third trying to knit things together while also shutting them out. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's a case of just camping in or just going gung-ho. And like you say, Eddie Howe came up with those tactics, and I think it is something that needs to be applauded, because if it was easy, every team would do it, and every team would play Man City and not concede hardly any chances, at least for the first 70 minutes. So, but even at the end, do you know what I mean? It was snapshots. So it shouldn't be underestimated, the game that Eddie Howe played, and also the fact that he gets those players to buy in to those tactics and to run the bollocks off in that manner. Again, if it was so easy, then every team would do it. Obviously, you always want effort; it should be a given. But it does speak to Eddie Howe's man management that he gets players to just execute that game plan where it's such an energy sapping, tactic. So I think, I've had complaints about decisions, etc. Eddie Howe's made, but definitely, while you don't want to be, going over the top about the actual point, the performance, I think it's worthy of saying, well done. When we drew against Arsenal and Boy Robson, when Robert got sent off and Robson's in the pitch, he's clapping, say, well done, lads. Similar thing. But yeah, look, obviously, see what happens at Goodison. Got to follow up now. That's a different game, different dynamic. Yeah. We should be the favourites, so totally different. Right. But for that Man City game, got to give them well done.
How far the mighty have fallen. Everton always been a historic team in the Premier League or English football, and now us going to Goodison Park we are the favorites to win it, especially if we play like this. It's going to be over quickly.
But they won again the weekend though, Chris. So like I say, they are a little bit dogged now, so they'll be.
It won't be
they'll
that
putting it on us.
That was after going behind instead of going in front.
Going in front, yeah, exactly.
I don't, and you know, a lot of Newcastle fans probably will get mad at me for you acknowledging that they are or have been an important team in English football, because all of a sudden Newcastle do have a rivalry. I don't know, man. But
don't forget, we've got no Isaac either for that game potentially.
Potentially, yeah, that's true. Let's take a listen to probably the best manager in the world at the moment, Pep Guardiola, speaking on Edward Howe.
Many years I'm here, he's many years as well, so Bournemouth and the other one. So I said to him how I admire him for the way he approached the game, and first in a high pressing. It's a team is so direct, so they have a lot of legs with Murphy, with actually no ways, but Gordon, Barnes. So we control them really, really well in most of part of the game, especially when we play so high. You know, Bruno and Joelinton and the physicality, Tonali, and after the central defender so high. It's a so difficult team. So we know in Newcastle last season struggled a bit for just one reason, for a lot of injuries that they had. Otherwise, the team can compete really well. And you know, when you are a manager for many years, a lot of times, and it's, you know, never created problems. The press conference always polite for the opponents, like we try to do as a club. So why should not be? So I admit that we would like to win. We draw. They deserve as well. So, and we take the points both.
There you go. Look at Pep, man. I'm telling you, I keep saying that when I say it every time. Pep will manage Newcastle United at one point in his career. You better believe it.
Quality gentleman.
He is leaving that door wide open. I want to also, by the way, thank you to and welcome to new subscribers of the channel. Because yesterday we put bits and pieces from people, from the protagonist Anthony Gordon, Eddie Howe, etc. And we put one yesterday from Anthony Gordon speaking, and after the game we got 17,000 views on that one, and just yesterday,
it was amazing, wasn't it?
We've had over probably 150 subscribers, new ones to the channel. So, but it will be. Everybody. So welcome everybody. If you're watching, you can watch this on the replay as well and join us. But I do want to get his take on this. Kind of take a listen, because yesterday, and we've talked about Gordon leaving and being offered to Liverpool. You know, that was the rumor. That was the rumor out there, and he made things clear as well with the celebration. So let's take a look. I don't want to paraphrase what he said, but this is what exactly he said right here. And this video is on the channel as well, so you can go enjoy it and enjoy many more videos. So there you go.
Anthony, you've just gone toe-to-toe with arguably the best side in the world. Did you get what you deserved there today?
Yeah, I think so. I think a draw was probably a fair result. I think both teams were really good at what they were trying to do. They obviously controlled the ball. We were looking to counter-attack them and get some moments, and that's how the game played out in the end. They went 1-0 up, and we knew we'd get a moment. It was just about taking it, and thankfully we did.
It felt like the dynamism and the identity was back today.
Yeah, I feel like we've missed it so far this year. I think that's been pretty obvious in our performances, but I think after Fulham was a bit of a reality check, to be honest. But from that, I think training was top, as in lads were kicking each other and the intensity was just there. It was really good standard. Everyone wanting to win. So I sort of knew today that we were in a much better place than we had been, and I knew, based off the training, that we'd play well. Obviously, never showing the result, but I knew we'd get a good reaction.
Talk to us about your role today, much more central, a really big role today.
Yeah, I obviously can play different positions. Striker's quite difficult in terms of you don't see a lot of the ball, but I've just got to play it my way when I play there, which I don't mind. Try and run in behind, cause some problems, press, and then wait for moments. And yeah, like today where I took it.
Before the game, there was a flag display in your honour. Talk to us about what that was like when you came out of the tunnel and saw that.
I don't think fans will ever quite know what that stuff will mean, in terms of, like, I've got family in the stadium, of course, watching. I've got a little son, so they're memories that will stay with me forever. So yeah, I don't think they quite know what it meant to me. But I heard about it yesterday, but I don't think until I seen it today, I knew how I'd feel. Someone was crying on the pitch. There's a bit of adrenaline rush, and yeah, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
And you responded with the goal from the spot as well. How did you keep your nerve when it was such a big moment in the game?
Yeah, I just try and do what I do. I've got a process for penalties where I sort of check a few things off, try and breathe, zone out, and yeah, take the pen on my terms rather than the referee's whistle or the keeper's. I just do it when I feel ready.
And after that, there were chances to win the game. It really felt like you were the team on the front foot.
Yeah, that's what I said before. They were controlling it, but I felt like we had some really good chances off the back of sort of catching them out when they were passing the ball about, which is always going to be the case because they push so many men up the field that if we can counter and pick our moments, well, we'll get some chances.
Great celebrations when you scored as well. You kissed the badge. There's been talk about your future, but you didn't look like a player that was unsettled in that moment.
No, I haven't been. It's quite hard as a player because you can't really come out and say it, and you just sort of have to get on with stuff and focus on what's important. But I think fans can be guided by journalists, which is hard. I've just never been in doubt here since I've come back from the first day of pre-season. So it's been quite hard for me to understand that people have that perception at the minute. So that celebration was just to clarify that that's not the case.
And I guess the other way you can do it is with your performances on the pitch. You certainly did that today.
Exactly. I've been planning that celebration for a while, but I haven't scored. So, yeah, I've been planning to sort of give them that message for a while, but I haven't scored yet. So glad it happened today.
There you go.
That's
Look
the
at
boy.
Fantastic.
Really, really interesting stuff. He was waiting for that, and of course, by celebrating like that, you can tell he really wants to stay. He wanted to make a statement, and it's pretty good. Pretty good right now. Newcastle United, by the way, 7th in the table with 11 points, and just right behind Fulham. Look at Fulham beating us. And they're 6th now, and. Aston Villa, 13 points. Chelsea, 13 points. Who did Chelsea beat? Chelsea beat Brighton, didn't they? Yeah.
Jesus, that was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy game.
And Arsenal, of course, ended up beating Leicester City. Mighty, when you want to say something about Leicester, you want us to cover Leicester now?
No, all I was saying was let's get Leicester's goalie instead of Nick Pope.
See. How can you say that about Nick Pope? He didn't make. He is dross playing with his feet. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Honest, that was the one negative to come out of yesterday. Was
no, but it's always like that, though. It's ever again.
Just do not pass the ball back to him.
But however, and by the way, when we get to the Twitter thing, trust me, people are having their go. But
honest to God, man.
But
a fantastic save. Well, a really good save.
Instinct
to keep winning the game.
But every match he saves us though.
Your backside's going pinhole, manhole every time the pass the ball back to him. And at times they don't have to. What would Roy say? Just hoof it.
Yes, hoof it.
Yeah,
man.
that's what they were doing, wasn't it? They were just knocking it back against, when they were under pressure, they were just clearing the ball into lines and then just regrouping. And I think, I keep saying, play the way you're facing it. And if you can't do it, then just get rid of it. And it's always been the old adage for me.
The thing is, Gary, that's normally the case. I sometimes do that, but in the last 5 years or so, a bit longer, it's totally changed. In that, no, you don't play a percentage ball. You have to go, tick a tacker.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, really, how much it has changed that way and how it's been accepted. Where you're playing these hospital balls. In our instance, like you say, with Nick Pope, where he's not great. So it's more of a kind of football issue with stuff like that. It does get on, because I think it's totally counterproductive to be playing those sorts of passes.
But when you look at some of the top teams now, I agree that coming out of the back changes the formation of the opposition totally. If you've got players in front of you that are able to move into the pockets of space, and I think it is the way forward. I just think when I look at the likes of Man City now, again, Well, look, they're an elite side.
With the
They've
back
won
healer.
lots of trophies, and then all of a sudden you've got players there that won't risk it because they know they're going to get a rollicking off Pep. So they'd rather just boot the ball down, get the momentum back, get the shape back, and then start again. Because once they get the ball, they know, and every other team knows, that the retention of the ball for them is second to none. Yeah, they even put like the likes of Arsenal to the sword with possession of the ball. So we know they're an elite side. And for me, yesterday, what was really refreshing was we even made them do things like that. Just clear the ball. You know, Edison was under a lot of pressure from Gordon all the time. They're back two, back three, whichever way they played, with Walker coming in onto the three, which left Guardiola free for the goal, unfortunately. But every time they got underneath a lot of pressure, rather than try and look for the simple pass, it was just get rid of it and we'll regroup. And I think if they can do it, we can. And we don't do it as often as I'd like us to, especially with Palpa.
By the way, Man City lose the lead because of us, so that's another plus in there. You know, nobody else done that. And Liverpool up top with 15 points as well. So we're 7th, and we're still very much in it. So early in the season, though. But you guys were talking about the Anthony Gordon a bit when we played his piece. Joe Cole was at the match, by the way. He was in the doing his reporting. And he did say on the Daily Mail, or the Daily Mail picked it up, said that Anthony Gordon could replace Harry Kane as England's number 9 for one key reason, after stellar display in Newcastle's draw with Man City. Not sure, and I don't want to get in depth and reading what the key or whatever, why he thinks that might work, but Joe Cole, listen, mighty win. Joe Cole has played the game, brother. English international, played in a big team.
Played the game, bollocks, man.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving you his take on this, brother.
Joe Cole is one of the worst.
I don't know about that.
Or whatever, yeah.
Oh, commentators. Well, I don't know, but these brothers certainly one of the best.
You know, what's the word?
Pundits.
Pundits. That'll do.
We've been told that about you, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. It's probably all true.
All right, look. I'm just sharing the news, man. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, but it was an interesting take yesterday. And like I say, for me, you know, the one thing that was 100% noticeable throughout the game, when you needed a number 9, a direct 9, for me, if Isak was in the team yesterday, because the space that were allowing Man City were allowing our lads in and around the pockets, I think we could have gone on and won that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, we could have. They didn't give us a penalty.
Isak would not have been doing that carrying of Edison.
Not to that extent.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Even Harvey Barnes wouldn't have done it if you were going to put it into individual pods. But every player had a job to do. That's what I said. People forget what Harvey Barnes was doing yesterday. Harvey Barnes was making the midfield defence a lot of the time. And the other player that he was up against was Kyle Walker. Now, we know pace for pace. That would have been a test for Anthony Gordon one-on-one. You know what I mean? So we knew Harvey Barnes was never going to beat Kyle Walker. But what Eddie Howe did was, instead of saying to him, just play on the pocket of Kyle Walker, he tried to bring him deep to try and pull Kyle Walker with him, which, to be fair, it worked to a degree, and it allowed a couple of times, if you had a look at where Anthony Gordon was playing, into that channels. And because of the way Barnes was sat over in that little pocket of space, every time he come deep to pick the ball up and turn, what it did mean then was Kyle Walker had to come to him, rather than, like, if it was Gordon, it would have been playing on his shoulder to try and get around the side of him, or if it was Isak playing out wide. So for me, I think a little bit of, I would say, a tweak. That's what it needed yesterday. Where you would have played him and who you would have replaced him with, who knows? Because the only person you could say would have been probably Murphy. But I thought Murphy had a good game yesterday, if I'm honest with you. Because with Guardiola making that decision to go forward, it allowed actually Murphy to pickpocket sometimes down that right-hand side.
He's a good player. I think Murphy is a good option to have. And I know we haven't got the depth in a lot of positions, or some positions, but I do think Murphy, Howard maybe sees him as a starter, but I do think him on the bench, if we had Gordon and Barnes on the wings, there's a lot worse options out there than him to come off
Yeah.
and make an impact.
Yeah.
And you can tell that when he's came on, he's made an impact
game
though.
yesterday, except just the final act decisions. Really, you know,
Yeah.
passed. It took too long to pass it, or chose the wrong option. But
Yeah.
his
Too early.
work rate and some of the stuff he was doing was
Yeah.
fantastic.
All right. Let's get into the player scores, folks. We got to do player scores. So this is what I'm going to show you what I gave them. So I'm not going to vote on this one, and people in the chat, you can get involved. So
Yeah,
basically, we're just going.
I've already seen yours.
Yeah, you're gonna say, and you know, I'm the Russian judge, man. I'm very strict, but I was nice on this one. So let's start. I guess just because it came up that way, Mighty Win, you start first, Gary second, and Tim third. I gave Pope a 7. So because everybody starts with a 5 with me, and it depends on them.
That's exactly the same. Oh, you're copying me now. Eh?
No, not at all. So Nick Pope, everybody in the chat as well, please get involved. Give us your score on Nicola Popa.
And I'll give him a 7 as well.
Why? You just copy me?
We know who copies who. No, because his footwork was abysmal, but he kept us in. He got us a point.
He saves you. He saves you every time, and so
yeah, exactly.
And I'm pretty simple with football as well. I mean, a goalkeeper needs to play with his hands. You play with and the team should know now not to pass him the damn ball.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, if the team is pressuring him,
it also begs the question, does it not? What are they doing in training?
well, you
know,
said,
are they doing any drills at all where they're passing it back to him and making him do stuff and saying no, not that, do it this way? It does beg the question as to
he's not learning,
because it's been going on for so long now.
Well, we're going. Let's get
it's all
together.
about your first touch. Yeah, it's all about your first touch win. To be fair, and unfortunately, you know, when keepers the academy keepers now will have literally an hour a day just on footwork because it's a different game from when obviously Nick Pope was a kid. Now, what we have to do now is we have to change the way Nick Pope plays. We know he's a great shot stopper, but can you really teach him now to play football? Well, I'm sure he kicks the ball better than most Sunday League players. The difference is when you're playing the Premier League, it's a different kettle of fish. So it's a weakness to his game. But you know, I'm going to throw the coin now, I'm going to toss it the other side. Man United should have gone and bought. I don't know. I can't remember how much they played for Onana because Onana is one of the best keepers with his feet. But by Christ, he can't use his hands. Now you've got to ask yourself, which one would you rather have? If you could amalgamate the two, then it'd be great, but you can't. Yeah. So I'd rather have Nick Pope any day of the week.
All right. What's your score then?
7 for me. First off, aside from obviously Guardiola's opener, stellar saves against Ireland and Silva kept the visitors at bay. So I mean, a lot of the stuff that was it at him, if I'm honest with you. And again, you've got to go. It's more luck and it's pressure on the ball because it was snapshots by them, and they were going straight at him. So apart from the reaction save from Bernardo Silva's, sidekick, he really didn't have to do a lot yesterday, which is surprising. And I think that again goes to show just how well we defended.
Yep. Thank you, Helsazar, for the membership. It's going to Peter Moyle. So there you go, Peter. Congrats, mate.
Well, Peter, please, in the night.
Peter, if you don't mind, Peter, please renew your membership where you can help us and get exclusive content. And you'll be able to participate on the member giveaway. When is it? Let me see, 30. So it should be tomorrow, actually, on the preview. So we'll give something away related to Newcastle. Tim, what's your score on Pope?
It's a 7 again. For all the reasons you have said. If that ball that he gave away in the first half, it should have been a goal, really, for Man City, shouldn't it? You know, and that would have changed the complexion of how we view the performance or Pope's performance. But that save at the end was brilliant, and I totally agree with what you're saying in terms of with Onana. Better the devil you know. The only thing I would say is that Valencia goalkeeper, from the little I've seen, you know, Dennis Wise scouting here, but the little I've seen, he looks to be the full package. You know, he's maybe not Edison on the ball, but he seems to be really competent on the ball. But he's a beast, and he makes amazing saves, and he commands the area. So like, that's what I was saying last time, where you've got to balance the funds that we have. But I just wonder, like, you know, if you're being ruthless, could it have been worth? Because he's not going to come along often, play like that.
Not for the
so
money.
maybe it could have been worth going for him. But like, if we're not going to have him and a few others out there, then like Pope it is still a really good option.
Yeah. All right. The next one is Dan Byrne. I gave him an 8. Why did I give him an 8? Damn it. I think I messed up on that one. Never mind. No, I thought because it's simple. He kept the best striker in the league at bay. He wasn't there because of. Now I don't like him running around with his chicken with his head cut, like a chicken with his head cut off up front. But and plus he looks funny doing that, like a big giant just running around. Like it was not my cup of tea for Byrne. But as far as defending, he did amazing. So mighty win.
Well, I'm just gonna have to copy you again because he was fantastic, and I loved him. I loved him marauding forward. Loved it,
man. Okay.
But did you? The other thing, by the way, when he did go on his wild run up front, did you notice where J7 went? Straight back.
Yeah, somebody's
where he was.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a team. There's no I in team, you know that, but there's me and me.
Yeah, that's right. Go on, Gary.
I've given him a 7. Locked in a battle with Haaland for much of the afternoon. Found himself out muscled at times, but because of the backup from Shaw, was able to get it back on side. A little bit bewildered with Guardiola's opener, if I'm honest. But again, that's because of obviously play that happened before, and he was doing his best to get back. And because when you're at full pace, when the ball gets checked back, your momentum carries you forward. So he'd probably been better off just having a slide there and see what happened from it. But it is what it is at the time. You do your best. But I think he stood up well to a really tough test and got some cracking headers, vital blocks. So for me, a well-deserved 7.
All right, Tim.
I'd say an 8, and I'd say because keeping Haaland quiet, you know, it's not easy to do that, is it? And I think that one slip up with the goal, I think it would have been a 9 if maybe it wasn't for that. Like you said, should have just stayed on his feet, or not staying. If he's going to dive in, do it when he's sliding along the ground. But he just kind of momentum caught him off guard. And I think with when he's having those runs forward, I think did we have a corner or something? I'm not sure, but I didn't mind that because it's an instinctive action where, okay, I happen to be here. You know what? I'm going to close him down. Like you say, J7 can tuck in, cover us, and it gets the crowd in the game. You know, we want to throw in, it's all of a sudden places up. So instinctive moment like that, you know, if you pick the right time, I don't mind too much.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. Next one lined up. Lewis Hall. I give him a 9.
I think that's fair as well. Oh, hey, I'm just going to copy you, right? I'll give Lewis Hall a 9 as well. He was just almost man of the match. Yeah, did everything. I mean, the commentator on the commentary that I've watched a few times. In fact, I think it's Ali McCoist, in fact, who says, you know, look at that. The ball, he's under pressure, and no thoughts of just hoofing it. He just cuts the ball back to Bruno. It was just fantastic, and then got us in that move, got us moving up the pitch. Yeah, he had a great game, best game he's had in the black and white shirt for me.
Yeah,
And me.
very good, Gary.
I don't give 9s and 10s, as you know. They have to be like centre of excellence for me for 9s and 10s. But I've given him an 8, and he was my man of the match. Having watched the game again 3 times now, because I wanted to see how the different phases through the game. I've studied it. So I've given him an 8. His best game of the season, much improved display. 10 ball recoveries he actually had. Far better defensively, carries the ball well and plays some lovely passes across field, left to right. Physicality for me still remains noticeable, but it's still a fantastic option. And he was partnered up, to be fair, with Silva, of somebody of his same ilk, and he kept him quiet the entire day, really. Didn't get into trouble once. And to the point where, like Wins just said, you saw J7 actually played out in the left back role. And that was actually Lewis Hall telling him to go out there. It was absolutely phenomenal to watch, because obviously Lewis Hall had come inside to make it tight. So the passing channels weren't there. And then when J7 went to step back in, Lewis Hall just pushed him to the left of him. And I just thought, you know what, that is quality, from a young lad who's still trying to find his way. But again, you think about it, what a fantastic option we've got with this young lad still working on his trade. But when you're looking at how he's high pressing game, I think he's the one to watch going forward.
56 touches, by the way. 56 touches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Timothy?
He's such a talent. He's a massive talent. And like I say, I was frustrated last season he wasn't playing more. 'Cause I've seen him for Chelsea on some games. You could see then, such composure for a young lad. And I think what he did really well was the little things. And I take your point, Win. Obviously he had the cover, so it's easier to improve defensively. But just the little things where he's getting his body in the way. There's a bouncing ball in the corner. The Man City players trying to nick it off him. Maybe a few times in the past he would have lost that duel, but he's getting his body in the way. He's getting a throw in. So little details like that, I've seen a massive improvement. So yeah, I'd say 9.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, I thought you froze there for a second. All right, so 9. That's so far the highest score that I've given, at least in the Mighty Win. The next one, Kieran Trippier. I gave him an 8 because I thought he was one of our best players. And the reason why I, by the way, said that I chose Livramento, I just went of what Eddie has been doing. I feel like if you're going to strip the captaincy away, you're going to not put him as a starter. And even the set pieces are not commanded by him, all of them. He's sharing the role now when he's on the pitch with Lewis Hall. And I thought, well, he's not going to start. But yesterday, he proved it that he is very much still alive as a footballer. Mighty Win.
8 as well. There was 3 occasions. I would have had Trips as a 9 were it not for his, shall we say, culpability in the first goal when Grealish got away from him. But the pace that he's still got.
Yeah. Going
back
and
there
forth
was
is not tough.
2 occasions. There was one, they played a ball down the right wing and he kept it in and got it into the middle, caused damage. He's Newcastle's best fullback by a million miles for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's Michael McIntyre with his hand in his pocket again. Good old Michael.
Thank you so much, Michael McIntyre, for the £2 donation. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that, of course. Hi, old Toon, says Michael. All right, then, Gary, what do you think? And please get active. The new people that are coming in, let us know your scores.
I gave him a 7, if I'm honest. It was an 8, and he did absolutely everything right. But there was a couple of points that I want to pick up on. Obviously, he stood up to Grealish the entire time. We know how tricky Grealish can be. You touch him, he goes down. I think he's one of the guys that gets the most free kicks awarded for him because he's that type of player. And he kept on toying with Trips the entire game, and it was that moment of madness where he actually dove in. It was a bit of a heavy touch from Grealish, left the ball open a little bit. So Trips made the decision to dive in, and unfortunately, Grealish sucked him in. His first touch was dynamic, and it was out of his feet. And obviously, he laid the ball then through to Guardiola's opener. And unfortunately, the one thing that I've always said about Trips was his set pieces. He actually didn't beat the front post for any of the corners that we had. So that was a little bit disappointing. I mean, hit Haaland every time, and like I say, I'm not sure whether him and Haaland have got some type of tab going. Who can head the most headers from my set pieces? I think he certainly got that. But when you look at it, the good parts with Grealish, with Trippier, was Grealish was mostly ineffective. He offered some welcome grit, rallying the troops, even though there was some tussles and hustles. Every time there was a coming together, he was the one telling the lads to get on with it and rushing the game, because at certain points of that time where the lads were obviously arguing with Man City players, he realised, again, this is against, this is game management. It's about mental management. He knew at that point that we were on top of the game, and he wanted the lads to play rather than just argue. And he played some fantastic balls down the line for Murphy. Never really looked in any trouble whatsoever, apart from hopefully it was cramp. But there was questioning during the game whether it was a calf strain. So fingers crossed. We hope it is just cramp.
All right, Tim, what do you think about Trippier?
He's a proper leader, isn't he? And way at Bournemouth, when he came on in that game, at that point I said, you know what, he needs to be first choice. But now I like Livramento, but for me, from that point, I think Trippier should have been straight in, and he just brings that energy and enthusiasm, leadership. And I know he's been off it, the odd time, or more than the odd time, but he was more back to his best. It's a shame he dove in for the goal, but I think for this game I'd give him an 8. But I think he needs to start. Rotate him obviously the odd time with Livramento, because he's the future. So you've got two quality fullbacks there. But I think Trippier needs to get into a rhythm now, like he had last 2 seasons. And I think it was strange that he did get the armband taken off him. So, like you say, maybe it was because, he's not going to be a first choice now. But I thought a bit of a strange one.
Mm-hmm.
On the armband thing,
Yeah.
did you see Bruno, his armband replacement, when he did in the Gallagher's corner? He came away with the ball, and away we went. And Bruno is going, get in, Trips.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. Now then, just because I'd forgot to mention it, Hall's corners
You're really good.
were superb.
Yeah.
Trips's were rubbish. And maybe it's just time for a change in the guard there. That unless Trips is going to have a shot over the wall, it's time for Tonali and Hall to be taking the.
There is already a change there. Benjamin Maven says Tim looks like a USA comic named Tony Hinchcliffe. Well, thank you for the donation. I don't think Tim knows what that is.
No.
But thank you,
is.
Benjamin. Anyway, my mouse is
a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, you gotta look him. Look. Oh, do you know who he is? I have no clue, man.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Anyway. Let me see. Okay, so there's my beloved Betsy saying hola.
Hola.
Hey, Betsy.
All right, next one lined up. We're gonna move forward. Fabian Japadoni says I need to say share. I say shar. It is what it is. We don't know yet. Has he ever said that?
That's what the 2 dots are.
I think he
They
did
come
that.
out on the air.
How do you say? How do you? Oh, it's a share. Okay.
Aye.
Well, the Swiss, man, I don't even know what they speak. Italian, German, it's just all over the place, man. But anyways, so Fabian Scher. Well, Japadoni also said in the chat he played rubbish. He didn't score a 30-foot goal in this match. So, all right. Well, what do you think, Mighty Win? I give him a 7. Didn't see much from him, but
I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think it was one of his better games, to be honest. And he was not the pick of the litter yesterday. So I'll give him a 6.
Yeah. Okay. Gary.
7 for me. Incisive long passes, coupled with the odd reckless moments from himself. However, his ability to pick a pass, he read the game to help Burn keep Haaland quiet as well. Because like there's a couple of times where Haaland muscled Burn out of the way, and literally Shaw just picked it up. There was a couple of times between the two of them. First time I've seen for a long time where with Haaland's movement, instead of, I mean, Burn was man marking him, but then you'd got what's that? Or Rico Lewis was coming in on the inside right position, and what you got then was Shaw would pick up Haaland and Burn, but then would drop off to Rico. So literally all the pockets were, and it was just communication. The best game of communication I saw against the back 3, back 5 with J7 was yesterday, because they all done a job. And when the player was moving them, trying to move them out the positions to get runners in, the other person read the situation and allowed it to happen. And to me, like I say, even though he made a couple of mistakes, he deserves a 7.
Alrighty. Tim.
I'd say 7 as well. Maybe he could have got a bit more touch tight. Was it to Bernardo Silva? That shot at the end. It was a little bit like the Fulham goal, wasn't it? Like, if I'm being harsh. So again, if that goes in, you're asking a question. And I think with Cher, there's a balance between composure and being a bit lax. And most of the time he's on the right side, do you know, being composed and playing well. But there's the odd time where it looks a bit lax and maybe needs to be a bit more aggressive. But he's a quality player, and he played really well in general.
Yep, good stuff there.
All right, he's the perfect person to have as if you were playing a 3 at the back and you wanted somebody with a little bit of ability with the ball at his feet. He's got that composure to actually ping a ball around the park.
Definitely.
The biggest problem I find with Chair this year is the fact that, like exactly what Tim's just said, he allows the players in the box a yard of space. Now, if you've got a technical player like we have with Silva, as we saw, with Jimenez with Fulham, when you allow them the yard of space, they can get a shot off. And like luckily yesterday, the ball wasn't far away from crikey, it's gone out my head, Pauper, to get the save off. But like you said, it could have gone totally different. So yeah, it was a good pick up, that too.
Yeah, it could easily have been a 4.
Yep. Okay, so the next one is Joe Ellington, as some would say. I gave him an 8 just because he was, and we're gonna get into those Twitter memes, man, because they're great. But just all over the place, man. He's just all over the place, and he's so physical. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how he just bullies people all over the pitch, which is necessary.
8 for me as well. I thought he was back to his best. The way he was covering and dropping into that back line and covering that half space between the two, it was just a great game. Back to his best. Hopefully, I don't know whether that's to do with the fact that they've had this week all together in training, which they had before the Fulham game, to be fair, but obviously they were expecting the Wimbledon game that didn't happen, so that might have slightly, interrupted whatever plans they had. But yesterday, J7, superb. It would have been a 9, but that one ball that he gave away was just a little bit.
And that goal he could have scored in the first half. In the first half, could have been.
That was just a brilliant save.
Yeah, that could have been one equalizer right there.
But that would have been. He'd have been up to a 10 if that had gone in, which it could very well have done had Edison not been. In the right place, right time, which is what he does.
Okay, Gary, what do you think about the score for Joe Linton?
Started with an 8, then watched the game again, and I dropped it down to half a point because of a couple of errors. and we don't do half. So I'm going to drop it down to a 7. And I feel really nasty for doing that. But if you watch the game back again, he does play the ball. He gives a 50-50 ball to Bruno. And that's where we lose possession of the ball. And then that period of play for Man City, they go on to score. So that's the area for me that Joe Linton's got to improve. Sometimes, instead of just playing the simple pass to feet, he tries to pass it in front of you. And in a tight space, he can sometimes give the ball away too easily for me in midfield. But I mean, for me, he was an immense physical presence, allowed Newcastle to overrun the midfield. He was unlucky to score, as you say, in the dying minutes of the first half. But he does give the ball away in bad areas at times. But it still remains a weak point. But for me, you can't knock him anymore because of where he played. I've never seen a player come to a club that was a number 9, but yesterday he played at left centre back, and he played the role really well. Played left centre midfield, played a DM, played left back. The lad literally wears the club on his sleeve, and for me, like I say, if we can just get that technical ability a little bit better, he'd be one hell of a player.
All right, Tim, what do you think?
I agree. I thought I was going to be controversial because I was thinking 7, and it might seem a tad harsh, but I'm along the same lines where I think amazing off the ball. Like everyone said, do you know what I mean? Just a beast. His tactical awareness, covering, all of that has been brilliant. Was brilliant in that game, no doubt about it. I just want more technicality from a midfielder. And it is dangerous sometimes when you're giving the ball away like that. And this is where I think in games like this, he's perfect, where we're not the favourites and we're not going to have as much of the ball. And he can do his thing off the ball, win his tackles, try and keep it simple when he wins it back, and cover for the likes of Paul, etc. So, like, this is his sort of game. But when we play another side, maybe like Everton away, or definitely Everton at home, that is when I would say Joe Willock should be coming in, because he has got more technical ability. I mean, I've said before, he's more of a number 10. But yeah, I think we need to rotate, for me, that left side a bit. Because it sounds harsh, but I just think he's not going to really, he's 27 now, isn't he? I think his role is a destroyer with his energy, winning the tackles, maybe just rein it in a bit with these yellow cards and, go on at the referee all the time. And just for me, I think I want midfielders to have a bit more control when we get the ball back. Sounds harsh because he was brilliant off the ball, but I'd give him a 7.
All right, sounds good. Moving on to Bruno Guimaraes. I give him a 7 simply because I didn't think he played as good as Joe Linton and couldn't give him a higher score than him or even the same. So, Mighty Win.
I'm playing between a 7 and an 8. Few fantastic. I love the way he can pass a ball right along the deck with the outside of his foot, and it's like a toe poke, and it always hits the target every time. And there was a few of those yesterday, and I'm just going, wow. So I'm gonna give him an 8 because I thought as part of the team performance, as part of that middle of the park that we had yesterday, I think 7 would be a bit harsh. So I'm gonna go with an 8 for him. Love him.
All right. Gary.
Again, a 7. Obviously the decisive ball for Gordon's penalty was, it's cutting straight through the middle. I think he won nearly all of his duels in the middle of the park and stayed superbly disciplined when he was on a yellow, because obviously we knew, previously he was diving in a little bit, but like I say, yesterday it seemed as if it was percentage. he would only dive in if he had every single chance of winning the duels. And like I say, I think apart from 2, I think he won every other one. And to be fair, he looked more like himself, even though he's been really below par. He did the simple things yesterday, but what I loved about what I saw from rewatching the game was the fact that he followed play, the progression of the ball, and was always that the bottom kingpin just outside the box to move the ball again, left or right or forward, or even backwards at times to keep the ball. And for me, like I say, he was back to probably, again, for me, it was probably his best game this season.
Yep. All right. Tim?
I'd give him an 8. And yeah, I'd say, like you've mentioned, won his duels on the ball. He got us going up the pitch. He's just quality on the ball when he's at his best, and we needed that. And we needed him to get back to more like that, more back to his best, and he definitely more himself. And he's the full package when he's at his best, because he can win, not as much as Joe Linton, but he can win his duels. He can be physical, but he's got that quality going forward. And I'd like to see him a bit higher up the pitch, but that's another conversation. But yeah, I'd give him 8.
All right, sounds good. The next one is we're missing Tonali, but we'll get to him. This is not in order, to be honest. Harvey Barnes, I give him a 6. I was heartbroken to do that, but I didn't think he performed up to par with what I need him to perform. But just proving my objectiveness,
Yeah.
I give him a 6.
I was he was the poorest on the pitch for me yesterday. I was going to give him a 5 because on our side of where we sit, the balls that he was given to run onto, or his decision where to run when meeting the ball was poor. But then what you have to take into consideration then is who's he up against. Walker's probably the fastest defender. Well, after Van der Ven, the fastest defender in the league. So you got to give it. So I think 6 is fair. Yeah, 6.
All right.
Wasn't his best game, but because everybody played so well, I thought he was our poorest performer.
Gary?
I have to give him a 6, unfortunately. I agree with Wayne. He struggled against Walker because speed and positioning. I thought Walker's positioning was excellent yesterday. Didn't really put a foot wrong for City. So he didn't get a chance to see much of the ball going forward. People will always question his positioning for latching on the balls crossed from Murphy because he was always back. But again, the way I looked at the game, it was obviously evident during the game that he was told to do a job, task a job, to be that narrow 4. And if you get a chance to look at the game again, what Harvey Barnes' job was yesterday was actually marking space, and it was the passing channels. He cut out a lot of passing channels that would have probably gone through to Rico Lewis, who was just in front of that inside right position, which is where Man City often try and get in and at you. So he did a cracking job at doing the job that he was told to do. So I can't be too harsh on him. But again, because he hasn't got the burst of space to actually give us anything going forward, that first touch when he could have got a shot off in the first 90 seconds, I think unfortunately that was the pinnacle of his game, if you like, going forward. But he was up against a really good fullback in Walker.
All right, Tim?
I'd say a 6 as well. Like, he just didn't have many chances, did he? In the final third, apart from that one. But worked his socks off, like you said. And for me, still the first choice left wing for the moment.
Okay. David says might win 1 for not holding the AG flag, or did he? No, he wasn't. He was filming. No, you weren't. You were filming the whole time. You can't film. You specifically, you can't film and do another thing.
I was punching it and filming at the same time.
That ain't holding it, man. Punching it. What is that going to do?
You don't hold it. It goes. You just pass it once it's passed. You'd say.
Shame on you, man. All right. The next one is Sandro Tonali. I gave him an 8 because he is unbelievable, and the team is definitely different when he is on the pitch. So, mighty win.
Yeah. I would like to give him more, but it took him a while to get in the game. I turned around to the Ben, after about, I don't know, probably 15 minutes even. And I said, has Tonali touched the ball yet? And in the first 15 minutes, even though we had a brilliant, by the way, a brilliant 15 minutes, we were at them the whole time. But then the rest of the game, we came into it, and he was just, I don't know, did he lose the ball at all?
No,
Can't
man,
think of it.
Don't think so.
And he's just another boss in the midfield too.
He was immense. 8 easy 8.
All right,
Yeah.
Garrett.
Again, I'm going the same as everybody else. Everybody had a job to do yesterday, and I gave him another 7. Keep it simple. It was great to see him start, if I'm honest with you, because obviously that gave everybody that oomph that they needed. I love the shithousery that he gave with Jack Grealish. I think that was also great because he was getting under Jack's skin. He got that energy, he got the class with the touches in midfield, and that's something that we've missed. I love the interplay that he had with Trippier and Murphy in those little triangles. You saw him progress the ball lovely up into them pockets. And again, the difference between him and Longstaff is the fact that he gets to a certain point and stops because he wants to give an outlet. Where with Longstaff gets into those pockets of space in the box, and that's where he gets his shot off. He's a different type of midfielder, obviously. But I mean, you've got to look again with his mindset. He's always looking for the option for the player with the ball. So I love that. It'll be obviously it's a shame that he couldn't finish the game, but you couldn't say it. He couldn't have given any more for the team for the 75 minutes he was on the park.
All right, Tim.
I'd give him an 8. I'd still start Longstaff. No, I'm joking.
Oh man, hell no. That's a good one.
But I think he has to start in Tonali, and he's got that class, like you say. And I think the difference, not only just a tighter player, like you say, Gary, but when Tonali has the ball in a tight space, unlike Longstaff, who often goes to ground to get a free kick. Do you know what I mean? The referee, help us out here. Tonali keeps the ball. Do you know what I mean? How many times did he keep the ball in a tight space in that game? And it just makes a massive difference. So I'd say an 8. And he just needs a long run now in the side, no doubt about it.
That's right. All right. The next one up is Murphy. I give him a 7. I thought he was probably best game all season. Make mistakes just like everybody else, but I thought he had a couple of plays where he was going, chest to chest with Man City's defenders, and he beat them. So, what do you guys think? Mighty win.
Yeah. Obviously, the other thing I took, Chris, because I'll give him a 7 as well. Could well have been an 8 or a 9 had he been able to put the final touch to some of the runs he went on. It's just a shame that he didn't. But really, 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 probably the best game he's had for I don't know. I can't think of a game he had. I'm sure he has had it because he's had a couple of really good games for us in the past. But that game yesterday was up there with him. Easy. Comfortable 7. Could have been more.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I had the same 7. More than held his own on the right flank. First, he took on Guardiola at times with some really great ball carries as well. He did a literally, double touch where he actually nutmegged, I think, Guardiola to go around him and was driving into towards the penalty spots, towards the penalty box. And then he just makes, sometimes he just makes the wrong decision at the wrong time. where you've got space to run into and get to the byline, which would then help bring in other players into the box. He decides to pass it too quick. And unfortunately, some of them quality balls, nobody was anywhere near to actually get on the end of them. So, I mean, like I say, for me, because we were absence of a good set, like the usual centre forward, a designated centre forward, it probably cost him an assist during the game, if I'm honest. But again, he put some great balls in. So yeah, 7 for me.
Okay, Tim, what do you think about Murphy?
Yeah, I'm copying as well, 7, and I think he's got that good cross in him. I think that's lacking at times in the modern game, to go on the outside and just whip that ball in. He does that. Like I said earlier, he's a good option to have in the squad, and I don't mind. Like, for me, again, going back to it, I'd probably still play Gordon on the right, Barnes left, and you've got Murphy there who's a quality backup. Not quality, but for now, he's a good backup. And yeah, in this game, like you say, you probably would have had an assist if I had a striker in the middle. But the odd time, the wrong decision as well, when he megged their left back and then made the wrong pass, I think. So yeah,
Okay.
I'd give him a 7.
Okay, sounds good. The next one is Anthony Gordon. I gave him a 10. Just simply, and this is controversial because I think is probably the best player. I mean, you can argue Lewis Hall as well. So it wasn't a clear, a clear, overwhelming performance. But I just thought that he was just always a threat. The fact that when he was a center forward, playing a center forward, he didn't fall into that, or maybe Eddie was in there in his head telling them, don't fall into, just get in between the Kanji and the Ruben Diaz, or else you'll disappear from the game. Come out, be free, make your runs, and he did just that. And also the flag, the atmosphere, all of that can either make you or break you. Simple as that. Because that stuff can not intimidate, is to say he's scared, but can also, like he said, he felt like almost crying on the pitch. So that could probably, not that obviously the players do need that love, but it could make or break a player in that moment. And he took it, he ran with it, and also the penalty had to be cold-blooded to score against Ederson, against Man City. You're down a goal, so if you don't score it, your team still won down, and you know what I mean. So I thought, because of all of that, I'm going to give Gordon a 10. Mighty win.
I'm giving him a 9, same as Lewis Hall, but he's man of the match for me. Just tweak that over Lewis Hall. For me to give it 10, it's got to be, something literally out of this world, which this wasn't, but it was very, very, very good. And the coolness of the pressure of that penalty, especially on that day of all days when he'd had the display, as you've said, the pressure, you would have thought, and he just said, no, I still did my own thing, and so cool. Because he's just a Ben, still. He's just a Ben. People forget that. People forget that he's got a long, long way to go in the game. And fortunately, it looks as though we've got him for a lot of that time. Yeah. But so not quite a 10 for me, but certainly a 9.
Gary?
Yeah, he's the second 8 for me. Obviously, he levelled his game with an excellent burst of speed to win the penalty, even though there's some of our fans saying it wasn't a penalty. For me, it was the case of, it was his attitude, it was his will to run, and because obviously there was a tactical change with Harvey Barnes sitting a little bit deeper, he'll run the front line left to right beautifully for me. Nearly got on the end of a couple of half chances, which he made himself for the closing down. He put pressure on all of the back line constantly, and for me, he deserved the goal. And for me, like I say, it was the clever run for the goal as well. If you watch it, he runs in on that arc, and he's just looking across the line, and you can see Walker is just a bit deeper. Again, obviously, to get the run in on Harvey Barnes, and he just brings his run beautifully. And the timing of the ball is perfect. And he had the awareness to take the ball around the keeper. And I suppose, having looked at it again, maybe the ball was a little bit further wide than I first anticipated. So
Mhm.
whether he'd have actually got to the ball and scored, he would have definitely got to the ball, but he certainly probably wouldn't have scored from that situation. So obviously, for me, it was like I say, not quite man of the match, but definitely a great performance.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, I'd say 8 as well. And quality performance. I'm going to sound a little bit harsh here because I'm going back to Joe Linton comparison, where Gordon's off the ball running was brilliant, caused havoc in behind. And he's out of position. Do you know what I mean? He's not a centre forward, so you've got to consider that as well. And the composure for the penalty, was immense, like you say. So much pressure on that, and it was such a clean penalty. At the same time, again, just for me, and he's not a centre forward, so I bear that in mind. But when the ball goes up to him, it did come back a few times, and with his back to goal, it's not his forte, but he did lose it sometimes that way. And part of us still wonders about like Asula going forward. If Isak's injured, I still do wonder about Asula, thinking, what about a proper centre forward? Again, it sounds all harsh, and you're not going to get that running that Gordon gives you, perhaps. And as well with the chance that he had, the penalty, again, sounds harsh, but maybe his touch was heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like, could he have got his shot off? It was we got the penalty because, he went around the keeper, but really it should be scoring to begin with. Obviously the composure was amazing for the penalty itself. Can't take that away. Hopefully his attitude, not his attitude, but his body language, his whole vibe was definitely back to what we know him as, with his energies. Hopefully from that point of view, he just carries on. But just a few things to iron out, for me on a technical level.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still growing, isn't he, in that position?
Yeah.
And by the way, when I say it wasn't a penalty, and it was the fans that said it wasn't a penalty, I'm talking Alan Shearer and Shay Given.
Well, I'm not sure if it was, if I'm being brutally honest. Yeah.
No, well, Alan Shearer and Tim.
Man. It was a penalty.
It was a stone.
Ref watch tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but look. Listen,
and
man.
by the way, the GS7 penalty definitely was a penalty. I don't care what.
Yeah, that was definitely, and I'm gonna show you another one. I want to show you another one nobody talked about. And Alan Shearer and Tim got great points. They're just wrong. It's just as simple as that. All right, Nick, we're gonna do it quickly though. Joe Willock, I give him a 5, just because. See, this is the scoring I use. Everybody starts with a 5. He didn't do anything to me, so just stayed a 5. I guess I could have given him a 4. I gave Livramento a 5 because of the same reasons. Man for man, nothing really impactful. Joe Linton. Joe Linton. Oh my gosh, it looks nothing like Joe Linton. Longstaff. I give him a 4, and that sounds harsh, but just because I can't give him extra points because he didn't do anything. He had he gave the ball away in the intricate part of the pitch. He also could have had a goal, would have given him more points, but he didn't. He missed. So I just gave him a 4. And Osula, Osula didn't come on. Sorry. There you go. So just those 3 guys. What do you guys think, Mighty Win, quickly?
I'll go along with 5. I will, because I use exactly the same. Everybody starts with 5. If they do something really good, they get a point. If they do something bad, they did nothing, 5. Who else we're doing? Longstaff?
Longstaff and Livramento.
Livramento. That's right. Livramento, I'll give a 6. Because I thought he made a couple of good runs when he came on. He was involved in that little intricate escape from defence that created our chance. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 6 for him. And sure, I'm inclined to give him a 3 because he did nothing good at all, and he missed. He didn't even, just get it on target. Even didn't even get it on target. Could have won us the game. And then the defensively, when he passed the ball to them, and they didn't score as it happened, but it gave them a very, very good opportunity. But I'll not be too harsh. I'll say a 4 because it was a good day.
All right. And did you give? Oh yeah, you did. Liverman. Tim.
I'd say long stuff. I normally start with 6. I'll give him a 5. I think we just need to give him. I don't know. Everyone's on the long stuff out there. You know what I mean? And he's not good enough
Yeah.
ultimately to where we want to be. So that's definitely the case. But he makes those runs into the box that other players don't. Do you know what I mean? He finds that space, and obviously, if he could finish better, then would have so many goals. Or he'd have so many goals. I mean, don't forget he has scored goals. Do you know what I mean? For us in the past, more than I think what people think. So
Yeah,
I
but
just want to
on
kind of
the-
pace on a little bit. But yes, I know he's not good
Give
enough.
me, give me say, man.
Huh?
No, it's a mighty win. He's trying to cut you off, and like everybody's got their opinion. Go on, Tim.
Like I say, he's not good enough going forward in the long run. But it's a pile on, really, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think we're not at the match here, obviously, so we can say what we think. But maybe he's not like the worst player ever to have in the squad for now if he's playing a game here and there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But for this game, I give him a 5. And Livramento 6. And who else was there?
Joe
Willock.
Willock. I'd give him a 6 as well.
All right, Gary.
3, 4, 5. Joe Willock 3, touched the ball once, didn't really bother with any commitment to get back in certain positions when they were in the last 7 minutes or something like that. Didn't really get involved. Found it difficult to come into the team. I think he get up to the speed of the game mentally, wasn't there. And again, Willock's the type of front-thinking player rather than defensive player. So you have to be very careful when and how you use him. And I think he struggled when he came on 15 minutes to go. Sean Longstaff 4, almost scored with his first touch, as daft it looks, but obviously technical ability doesn't allow him to actually get shots on target. Some sloppy mistakes in the final third, which was like a precarious, which was obviously then City were mounting the pressure on us. And Tino, I thought, to be fair, he did okay because he had Doku to play with. So we needed that little bit of pace. And like I say, where Trippier was great for Grealish, I thought it was a nice matchup for Tino to go against Doku because of the pace. And like I say, Doku didn't really get involved with the game. So you've got to give Tino some credit for that.
All right. Sounds good. Let us go with Twitter Reacts. This should be interesting. What is it? What we got here? Oh, Tonali walking off the pitch. There you go. This Tonali. I think he was. Who's that back there, though? Oh, that's Trippier.
And that's Trips, yeah.
All right. So everybody giving them a round of applause. And, yeah. And he's, giving back the applause. So, yeah. Tonali, definitely not fit for 90 minutes, but he needs to start though. That's the thing. He needs to start. And,
he saved himself half a yard by cutting the corner
there. Exactly. There you go. All right, this was by NUFC Vlog. There you go. Mouth of the Tyne saying we seem to play better without Alexander Isak. Controversial take, or has him being out of form this season hinder us? I think that's bollocks. Because you need to have. He's part of the. He scored 22 goals last season, man. Stop playing. Again, we don't say that about any other player that didn't play well at all before Man City. That we need to. Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean I've heard Joe Linton being questioned and Bruno the captaincy, but I mean, I don't think he has a really good base. I mean, you can't take those guys out. You can't take Isak out.
Isak's too good. To take out for me.
And you can't judge him on an injury as well when he's playing with an injury.
Yeah, the dude got a broken toe. What is he going to do?
Yeah.
I will say that I think he does. I've seen the debate between you about Isak, about whether he should be doing more, whether he's the worst player, something like that. But on the pitch on that game, and I think he does need to do more off the ball in hustling defenders, or just simply keeping the ball and creating the odd chance for himself. Not that you have to be doing that all the time and have no service and still score goals. So like there's a balance, you know. I think he does need to be putting himself out about a bit more to create those openings and to link the play. But he hasn't had the service though at the same time in general.
Yep. All right, next one of Twitter Reacts. Look at that. Toompole says, your guy did F all, mate. Pocketed by Big Dan Burn. This is an old picture, though. I think this is from the last time they got into a fight or something. Yeah,
because Isaac's in the background there.
Oh, yeah, well, and then this was retweeted by BMN City. Haaland doing this to Saliba. Imagine what he will do to Dan Burn. Well, there you go. He didn't do nout. He did nout, man. Who is this guy? Bruce Scott says Kimon. Is that a Jordy thing? Kimon. There you go. Drinking his something. What drink is that? Anyways, Western Place has Anthony Gordon signed a new contract. Just seen the tifo.
Not yet.
Seat markers for the game. There you go. Not yet.
How much
Eddie House is not yet.
Is he getting 160 or 120?
I think they've according to what the reports were yesterday, and again I haven't looked today, but the reports yesterday, they've agreed in principle with the year and everything, with the years and everything else. They've still got to agree on the money.
Yep.
They're nearly there, but they're not quite there because I think it's bonuses now.
Highest paid player?
I don't think you will.
I think 150.
Let's not go there again.
150 is good. Might win already lost. He doesn't want to do it again. By the way, this is Danish says Toon Army Singapore for the match. Let's take a quick listen. There you go. So what is this? The penalty.
Yeah.
Come on. Look at the Singaporean mags. That's Tonali right there. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Good celebration. Shout out to the Singaporean mags. Look at that proper pub right there, man. There we go. Good stuff. That's a good shirt right there.
Yeah, it's quality shirts.
Yeah. Good stuff. Moving forward. Oh, what is this? Art but make a sport says Apollo and how do you say that? Marcius? Apollo and Marcius by Guido Reni, 16-20-25. Look at that. The similarities right there. Quality. There you go. Good stuff. Good imagination, man.
Look good for their age, isn't they? Them lot, if they were 16-20.
Yeah. You'll have been sleeping with the fishes.
Andy Sixsmith says, good start from NUFC, urged on by Jason Tyndall, who seems to be a fan these days. Class new Adidas tracksuit. They're looking good, though. I ain't gonna lie. Looking weird. The only problem about those is every time I look at them, I feel like that sound, like when you walk.
The shell suits.
Well, there you go. Man, it does annoy me a bit. But anyways, what is this? Shout out to Liam McMahon. Says, War Joe on ball boy duties today.
Oh, yeah.
Great experience for the kid. There you go. War boy was in there. Imagine having your son in there, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's quality.
What do you have to do? You have to be in the academy or something?
No, you can actually. It's usually you can pay for it, can't you?
You can pay for it.
You pay for it.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Used to be the case,
matey, there's a list as long as your arms. You have to be over 64 and accompanied by both parents to get a ball boy job these days.
But you got that ain't a job, man. If I do a job, I better be paid. I ain't gonna be paying. Well, that's crazy. But I mean, they do experience the players and the stuff, I guess. Rachel Taylor says, fantastic point today that I honestly didn't expect. Very well played, and this will hopefully give us a little more confidence to push on. Beautiful from War Flags again. And that's War Flags. Mighty Waynes, that's your stance?
No. Straight opposite.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't even watching.
That's me. I'm right under the zero. The bottom of the zero.
Yeah, that looks proba.
It's a shame the AG10 didn't quite show as prominent. When you guys were waving it.
Right. The next one, this is from Igini Kolovradov.
Kolovradov.
Toon Army Moscow. Look at that. Toon Army Moscow in the building as well. Good stuff, man. We got Toon Army everywhere, man. We're a big club. NUFC Gallagate posting Bruno trying to kiss Gordon's NFC badge.
Yeah.
That is funny. That is funny right there, man. Because that is good. That is good. We saw this one. Oh no, this is Shaq for Life says Northumbria 1, Vikings 0. That's good. That's good. That's good right there. That's like
landing in more.
You gotta know your history, man. That's pretty good right there.
That was Harlan saying to him, man, how are you, man, Dan? You know, you can have me shirt after the match.
Yeah. Andy Kerr says, if Newcastle hadn't already been given a penalty, is there any doubt that the ref gives a penalty for the Walker challenge of Joe Linton? It shouldn't matter, but the ref has to be brave to give 2 penalties to the same team in the same game. Yeah, no, I agree. They weren't going to give him another penalty against
them. I still think it was a penalty.
It was. It certainly was. What is it? So this is the picture I'm talking about. So right there, it looks like as he's walking out onto the pitch, it looks like the shirt is on the Gallagher end.
Yeah, except what they've done then, they've worn out, and then the turn
got
and
to the lineup, didn't they?
So what they did was, like, I guess when he was turning around, I guess that's what they took.
The walk to the
He's
right,
forward and left, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't understand.
Shot,
I was like, yeah, no, great shot. I just couldn't understand because the mighty wouldn't send me that video, but I was like, you don't sit in the Gallagher end, man. You're not a proper fan. You know, but yeah, there you go. Good shirt
just
though.
Before the lineup, before they shake hands, that is.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see. What do we got here? Meme Castle United says, if Nick Pope had hands for feet, he would be the greatest keeper on the planet. So right here, Nick Pope says, the ball's just been passed to me. This person says, so you're going to kick it forward, right? And he just smiles, doesn't say anything. And she says, right.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's not the cleverest guy with his feet. Alex Birdsall says, can someone explain to me how the penalty was controversial? If anything, the controversial thing was that we didn't get a blatant second for the foul on Joe Linton. Classic Sky Sports. So what did Sky Sports put? You don't see it on the bottom. It says controversial. Gordon penalty frustrates Man City. It ain't controversial to me, but
no, man.
You know. Bruno Guimaraes, there you go, says very good standards for ourselves today. We must keep it going. I'm pleased with our performance today. Away the lads. So there you go.
The lads.
And then so we got Fabian Lucas Share saying hard fought point, plenty to build on. There you go. Good looking man right there. Jimsky. Wait, that look. Hallen leaves St. James's Park with Big Dan Burns shirt and a thumbs up from Miguel Almiron's. That's Miguel Almiron's son right there. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. He's got Dan's shirt in the back,
and he got that shirt. Look at that. Hey, the only man
look at the smile. It is. He's not the milkman. He is definitely Miggy's.
Yeah, no, that's Miggy's. That's Miggy's son right there. Well, of course, we had talked about Gordon. There you go. What is this one? Meme Castle. Who was effing class today?
Yep.
That guy right there.
Absolutely.
That's an old picture, though. Yeah.
There's Bruno giving him the kudos.
Daily NUFC says 70% of the planet is covered by water and the rest is covered by Joe Linton. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I love that.
Good one right there. That's a good one. That's a good
That's stunning.
No,
the next
we'll
one.
have to try and get a meme of the world and see where Joe Linton fits.
Exactly. BT says, proud dad today. My little girl is mascot with Anthony Gordon. Good stuff.
That's quality.
There you go. So what you got to pay for that too?
Well, no. According to what Beers just said there, you it is free, but you can pay a donation to a charity of around £200.
So it says you can make the donation.
I heard
exactly.
Last season somebody was saying
it as well. Somebody said it was free as well.
No, listen.
But somebody said last season
You can make the donation as soon as you're trying to
Their-
walk past
their-
them.
Their child's place as a mascot had
Yeah.
been usurped by somebody who paid 1,800 quid or something.
Listen,
Yeah.
they say you can make a donation. As soon as you're trying to walk past them without making a donation, they're going to tell you the donation, please. All right, moving up. Black and White Banner says, Matt, sorry, Erling who? This is Erling Haaland versus every other team in the world and versus Newcastle. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Tune polls, then Burn emptying his pockets after full time. There you go. That's a good one right there, man. You got good imagination, people, man. I'm telling you. Mighty Win, did you get that one though? Did you get it?
Well, of course I get it.
Okay, man, because you looked a bit confused. Murph says, ladies and gentlemen, Newcastle play football today. You're welcome. That's the Mighty Win right there. Getting crazy in Newcastle. What's this guy going to do, man? What's he doing?
That's outside the beehive.
Oh my
Beehive,
gosh!
boy.
Well, let me tell you something. He's had more than beer.
The top of High Bridge.
He's had more than
Dirty
beer.
dancer.
Oh, look at that, man. He got moves, man. Okay. Let's go up. We can't play that. People getting way too carried away with today. If they'd had Haaland playing, it'd have been a different story. Oh, I get it. Because Haaland disappeared, you know. He wasn't playing. That's good, ALC. That's good. This is the penalty I'm talking about. How the F that's not a penalty. Right there. Look. Vardiol.
And he read the shirt, didn't he?
Vardiol. Look at Vardiol. Oh, I'm telling you, man. Who was that? Bruno? That is
Good
a penalty
defender.
right there. Look at that. That's a takedown, man.
Who is that? Just lift
I
it
don't
up a
know.
bit more.
I don't know who.
Is it Tonali?
No, Tonali's right here.
And all you
That's
get.
Tonali,
Yeah.
yeah.
And no, I think
No, it
he's too
doesn't look
short
like
for
Cher.
Cher. Well, it might have been Bruno.
It's say it can only be Bruno, then, can it?
No, he's not blonde.
Oh, that's true. Who's got white
Maybe.
boots? I mean,
Is it
yellow
Tino?
boots. No, Tino's blonde, man. What's wrong with you? Oh no,
Tino.
Tino. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. I
Tino.
thought you were talking about Hall. I thought you were talking about Hall.
Yeah, it could be Tino, actually.
The one looks like Shard, to be honest. But that is a blatant foul right there that nobody even talked about. Thank you, Manx Spy, for bringing that up. Yeah, good stuff. That was the gaffer right there talking on TNT. Oh, that's me when the Newcastle stuff in America. Anyways, that is Twitter Reacts. Good stuff, man, from the people. Really, really good imagination. All right, just some
such as their dubbing style.
dumb. Exactly, man. That is surprising
Dumb
right
style.
there. That is crazy. Okay, some comments, some starred comments that we can put in before we go. Jordan for Life, Jordy, that was we read that one, I think. Brian Quinn, so please, we made a statement performance. Yep. David T, so happy my draw prediction came up trumps. I just felt we would step up, you know. Yeah, well, I mean, we've done it against tougher teams. We'll see what Wimbledon. If we don't play like this against Wimbledon.
I don't think Wimbledon so much the test as Everton.
No, you're right, but you still.
Yeah,
But let me tell you
it could be a
something.
different side altogether against Wimbledon.
Let me tell you, if we're drawing against Wimbledon by the 90th minute, it's not good. Much less losing. Mighty Mag, Brian just need to keep it going and smash the toughies next week. There you go.
That's the key.
Lewis says we should have had a couple penalties that game. I agree with that. PDK Sandro was like prime Gattuso. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, Tonali is dangerous, man. He's no punk. Michael says that performance has to be the benchmark for the rest of the season. We show some teams too much respect. LATT petition to scrap early cause rough as toast today. Oh, kickoff.
To
scrap- Oh, that's trying to say cause, yeah. A kickoff.
I think there was quite a few people who had naps yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Michael, if you watch the game back, watch Jolinton dropping back into the fence to make it a 5 to close the gaps. Brilliant from Eddie.
Fantastic.
Yeah. JJ, is the game next week the last before they move to their new ground?
The last we'll play,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Goodison.
Well, Everton are moving from
Oh.
Goodison to that new stadium.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Next
didn't know
season.
that. So it's not going to be Goodison no more?
No.
No.
New
It's
stadium.
on the,
That's a
it's on the-
shame, man.
it's down on the River Mersey.
That's a shame. And how the hell did they get a new stadium when they're broke? Come on, man.
Bashir let more money, I think, didn't he? Or,
Yeah.
Infrastructure spending doesn't count.
Peter Moyle, we are absolutely right to celebrate a terrific performance in a game we deserve to win against a top side. There you
Yep.
go. Georgia Team for Life, the only team in the Premier League to stop Haaland scoring. Chelsea and Arsenal couldn't stop him. Davey says, just noticed there's another sudden international break coming up
After the
after Everton.
game.
Oh, yeah, that is tough, man.
It's going to drive us insane.
Tough.
That is just when we started to build momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Another
those are
break.
crazy, man. Jonathan
Oh,
Shaw.
in saying that, the only good thing about that, Chris,
You're more
is if Isaac
training.
needs another extra couple of weeks rest for that
Yeah,
toe,
That's
he
true.
comes back fit. So
That's true.
for me, that's probably as much as
Except
it's a hamper.
Eddie said in his presser that Isaac will be going.
Oh,
Not
but
if he
he'll-
ain't fit, mate. He can pull
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's true. Well, it depends if he's not fit. If it's not fit, but you know how players are, man. If they're about their country, they can
yeah.
say, "Well, I feel better now." I don't know. Jonathan Shaw, great performance by everyone involved today for the whole game. We played as a team, and the real Newcastle have finally turned up. It's onwards and upwards from here. Michael, by the way, I was feeling when I woke up, I must have celebrated like we won the Champions League. There you go. PDK, Pep likes us 100%. Jonathan, how refreshing to see a manager giving credit rather than whinging, I think. About decisions on or referees, etc. Certain managers should take note.
like Arteta.
Yeah, somebody said that as well. Arteta.
And Klopp.
Yeah.
Aye.
David Ali McCoy is to enjoy the stack. Yeah, it was his
He
birthday, I think.
Yeah.
Happy
It was his birthday on
Sam.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And to be fair, being an ex-Sunderland player, he got out unscathed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top Boy Junior, evening lads, just tuning in. I was at the game yesterday, and Big J7 was my man of the match. What a beast!
Yeah. Well,
All right, so who else?
the
we got?
oceans cover 70% of the earth, and J7 covers the rest.
Yeah, that's pretty good, wasn't it?
That's quality, that is.
All right, Mike
There'll be a
Debates.
tattoo somewhere.
If we beat Wimbledon and Chelsea, we are in the semis. Yeah, we should just beat. If we beat Chelsea, though, that would be amazing, man. I'm telling you, we need to win this Carabao Cup. All right. Anyways, you know what? We haven't done this man of the
John
match.
Tony there said Everton's new ground is called Good as New.
Yeah, I love that.
Who's the man of the match? So let's give them some options just for the last few minutes or so people can vote. We can put Hall, Lewis Hall,
Lewis Hall, definitely.
Gordon.
Gordon.
Who else?
You got to put J7.
And then we need one more.
Who else had a good game?
Burn.
Put Bruno.
Bruno Artenoli.
Yeah, Tim, you said?
Burn.
Oh, Burn, of course, yeah.
Well, he kept howling it, but yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, go on then.
I don't know, but I'm not going to agree with Bruno, though, man. I'm not,
That's what I said. But that's what I said. It'll be interesting how other people see it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
we
I'm saying.
only got one more option, so Burn or Bruno.
That's what I said. We've got Hall as the defender. You've got Gordon up top. So somebody in the middle we've got.
We
I
got
mean, J7, to be fair, played everywhere.
So
So
now
you
we
can
got
put one centre. So the Tonali or Bruno, I think.
Oh, I'd
It'd
say
be interesting to see
Tonali
people's
I would
views.
say
Tonali
or
played
Burn.
better, though.
Bruno or Burn. No, but Burn, how you burning?
Well, all right. Well, just put Bruno, I guess. I don't know. And see where it goes from there. I don't think either is going to get it anyway. So people vote right now. So we can get your vote in. You choose the man of the match of the game yesterday. So please vote right now. Tomorrow we got breakfast show again, and daily show, and then at night should be the match preview: Newcastle versus Wimbledon. at St. James's Park. And then Tuesday, obviously, live match commentary on this channel. Instant match reaction right after full time. And there you go. So we got a lot of coverage for Newcastle coming up on a weekly basis, obviously. So
Sean Nessie and Psycho give Burn man of the match on Talk Sport.
Burn.
Yeah, still piss.
You've got to consider
also-
what he was up against Holland. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just
Yeah,
runs
no,
right
that
on
is true. That is true. Well, Ronald Turnbull saying Burn.
Yeah, that's what I said. Everybody performed really well. That's what I said. It's one of them games where there wasn't that obvious because they all did a job, and that's what I said. Sometimes you've just got to take your hat off and say, you know what, well done, Eddie Howe, for doing a grand job. And also, what again his failure was against Fulham was putting two left-sided players with J7 and Willock because they strayed that way, leaving in that corridor. And that's what I said. I think sometimes you have to have a kick in the nuts before you realise it feels wrong. You know what I mean? And that felt totally wrong. So he's learned the hard way. And I think you've seen a difference in the players.
Like you say, like him coming out after the game and admitting, I got that wrong. Not many managers do that.
No, exactly.
I'm so happy that we've got a manager, despite some things that annoy us the odd time, we've got a manager who just has class about him, and you look at likes of Arteta, do you know what I mean? And honestly, I just would not want him anywhere near, for me, the club. And it's rare these days to have a manager with that sort of class because everyone's at it. Everyone's trying to work like an angle with the press and trying to shape image. And obviously Howe isn't totally straight down the line with everything. I know that, but I'm just glad we haven't got the circus that a lot of managers bring elsewhere.
Absolutely. Right. You look at what happened to Ten Hag now. United. It's a bit of a show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are intelligent, and please, I've been thinking of this, and I cannot remember one, but obviously my brain's like a sieve. So, can you guys tell me any manager that's come into a side that are potentially towards the bottom of a table and lifted them to a different plane without having a squad, without having any money? What other manager has done that in history?
I agree with you.
One I can think. Sorry, is Redknapp at Spurs? That was after. I think it was after like 6 games or something, or 7 games. They were second bottom.
But they had a squad, didn't they?
To be fair, yes, they had a better squad.
If they had a squad, that's what I'm saying. You don't see big managers go into teams that are struggling, especially with the depth of squad. When they come in, they usually tinker with lots of different players, lots of different systems because they have the numbers. I couldn't see many managers coming into Newcastle where it was. Listen, I know we've got the money, but obviously the restrictions will always hinder us going forward. And I know, like I say, we spent 400 million, but you've got to understand what we've had to replace. With that 400 million.
And by the way,
very many players.
By the way, the fitness levels that Bruce had left behind and the morale that Bruce had left behind as well.
Exactly.
Incredible job.
Unai Emery, Geordie 2 for Life has just said there, he was probably the only one I was wanting at the club when he was available. Why did he go to Villa? Was it because they had a bigger squad, do you think?
And more money.
And not in a relegation battle?
Well, of course.
Potentially.
That could be. All right. Well, people voted for
Hull.
Hull, 50%.
Yeah,
the people voted for Hull. So there you go. All right. Thank you so much for joining the show. Tomorrow.
Did Bruno get a mention?
No, not a one single vote.
That's why I put him in.
Not a one single vote. So there you go.
There you go.
Okay, so thank you so much for supporting the channel. And tomorrow we'll be live again with the Daily Show. We got the match preview. So stay tuned. We'll see you in the next one. Highway the Last. Thank you, Mighty Wayne. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Gary. We'll see you in the next one, folks. Bye-bye.
Highway the lads.
And lasses.